Hello, Edson Oliveira here for DNN Hero. I have as usual with me Scott Wilson. Scott, how is summer treating you?
It's summer's going well, and up north here we're experiencing very nice warm weather. So hopefully same in Toronto, right?
Yeah, things are okay here. Yeah, just try to enjoy as much as we can while it lasts.
Right.
August is right around the corner, and yeah, the feeling of oh man, it's winding down. It's already taken over. But again, let's enjoy that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the people that live in Southern California or Florida, they don't have the mindset that we do with regard to summer. We really cherish summer.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that point too much, but I'm from Brazil originally. So and I'm from the Northeast. So again, people don't have this cyclical mindset that we have here. You know that you really have to squeeze every inch of our summer. But anyway, that's my take for the summer here. Let's get to our DNN space again. Okay, what's happening on July about DNN. So I have here as my first point the release of DNN 8 Community Technology Preview CTP number 3 that just came out I think about a week ago, July 20th, and I just want to touch base a little bit about that one. That was the first one of the alpha releases that I've installed and I've given a try. So there are a few very nice things. One of the things that they have added already on this preview is the dynamic content creator admin interface. And as we all love acronyms, so it's already called DCC. So it's called the DCC. So again, I just have it. I decided to install it and bring that up to us here. I really like the interface. Again, very slick interface, very similar to DNN Evoke. If you have seen Evoke before, the new admin, the new content manager roles that they have the sidebar. So it's quite similar. So what is a dynamic content creator? This is just a place. This is just an extension, just a module, very similar to Sexy Content module. And I have the interface in front of me here that you can create content types. Just for example, I have created a content type here called employees. And then within that content type, I can create, and let me just show it quickly here. Let me see. Well, I may get logged out. Let me see this. Okay, perfect. So inside employees, then I can create fields that belongs to employees, like their name, their position, their start date, their department. Is an employee active or not? So again, you can define content types, and inside the content types, you can define content fields. And again, those content fields, they can be text, date, they can be a true or false, a rich text, and you can even create, and again, I don't know how flexible this will become, but you can even create data types as well, which it comes with, again, text, rich text, markup, integer, decimal, and a few others, but you have the ability to create your own data types as well. Again, not sure of how flexible that will be, but again, that's the admin side of the dynamic content type. There's also the templates here, which I'm assuming those will be the HTML templates that you can embed those fields, and it can build list views and detail views for you. But that's not ready yet. Actually, in a post that Joe Brickman pushed forward, and I think that I have it here somewhere. Yeah, he mentioned that the editor and viewer are not ready yet. This is just the admin of creating a new content type. So again, very very exciting, a new feature for DNN 8, which again you guys can download it from Codeplex. It's right here. What else is new on the DNN 8? They are bringing support to perform upgrades on those content preview. On those community technology preview versions as well. So if, for instance, I've installed this DNN 8 CTP3, whenever the next version comes up, I can just upgrade that version. I don't need to, throw it away and install a new one. So they have implemented support for upgrades there as well. Another thing is that they started to remove some of the less used, less required components, modules that used to be part of the core DNN. They have removed the site log, which, by the way, I'm not sure, at this day and age, if anyone is really using something like the site log. But again, site log has dropped out of the standard installation. They have not removed the tables, so if there is data there that you may have, the tables will still be there, but site log has been removed, as well as it will also be removed in the future, the newsletter and some other modules, but they will all become extensions that you can download separately, and you can install them separately in case you need that, in case you want that. Okay?
Right.
What else we have here? And it's, as far as I can see, the final, or the initial release, the initial official release of DNN 8 is planned to be on this coming October. So again, have a look at I invite you guys to have a look at the Community Technology Preview number 3 of DNN 8, which is available. And yeah, there's this post as well from Joe Brickman that goes into more details. Anything to add to that? Any questions, Scott?
No, I'm still on CTP2, so I guess I need to get the number 3 and take a look at that.
Perfect. Okay, so next point here in our agenda. Let me see if I have something open here. No. I think that next week, the last week of July, there will be a new maintenance release of DNN coming up, which is DNN 7.4.2. So again, keep an eye on that. It's documented. It's listed here under the roadmap of DNN, which again, I'm showing right in front of you. So it's scheduled for July 29th. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but again, you should be on the lookout for next week to have some sort of a new release of 7.4.2. DNN Hangout, last DNN Hangout was Mitchell Sellers was invited, and he spoke about DNN extension points, and he went on, and in a way this is basic, but it's a good recap of the types of accessibility points that you can use on DNN, like themes, like skin objects, like modules, like providers, and a lot more. He went on and on talking about all the different things that you can use on DNN to avoid changing the core platform. We should very rarely touch the core platform. And again, he went on to evangelize, I would say, the DNN extension points that you can use to extend DNN in many different directions without touching the core functionality. Yeah, that was the Hangout. I think I have I have the screen right here. And by the way, all the links will be posted on the video post as well. Okay. It's okay. So that was July's Hangout. What else here? Okay, this one I would like to have a little bit of your input. I think that you have some insights here, Scott. It's about, and Will Stroh was the one that briefly mentioned about that during the Hangout, but there is an attempt to have a DNN on Chicago this fall. Again, I'm not sure how accurate this is, but Scott, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Don and James, Jim Nagy, and I, and the Chicago user group have been talking to Will about it. we were initially asking if anybody else was had gotten further in planning it, and he said no, just like us, people have been saying I'm interested, but haven't gone much further than that. And we're still not. I mean, we still haven't committed to it yet, so it's not actually. I can't officially announce that we're going to do it and a date for that. But actually, what we're looking for is a venue, and I've actually submitted some requests to different places, and our thought was we might probably wouldn't, even if the Chicago user group was instrumental in helping to coordinate this, it might not be in Chicago. We're kind of looking at like maybe calling it a Midwest thing, like a Heartland or something like that. So I'm sort of open to looking at anything between, like, say, Indianapolis and Denver, and anything in between. In fact, I think I did submit some feelers out to places in Indianapolis. So it's still up in the air. We haven't committed to anything yet. I mean, what's tricky about this is you have to get the venue first. The venue has to meet a lot of different criteria, and then once you establish that, you then need to very quickly have the funding in order to secure the venue, and then you can officially kind of announce that, and then get the rest of your funding, and then coordinate all the other things: speakers, audio, visual, food, cater, events, and all that other stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm not officially announcing anything, but I am trying to put together, I guess, a team of people that to see if we could get this thing put on in potentially in October. But it'll probably be something in the Midwest if we do it.
Got it. Have you thought about because again, like they do on on Florida, that they have a corporate entity, not backing everything up, but being the main, I'd say, point of organization. Again, I have no experience putting up an event like that, but you may want to think about something like that. Maybe, and again, this is just I'm gonna throw that on you. Maybe Blue Bolt or someone that is related to the ecosystem could, again, give the first hand there, be the, I don't know, the silver, the gold sponsor or something like that. I mean, again, and I'm sure that Will Stroll, if you reach out to him and talk to him, he'll give you a lot of pointers of where to go and what kind of things to be on the lookout.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to make it more of a collective between different companies in the ecosystem that are in the Midwest. Like I said, anything between Indianapolis and Denver. So there's lots of there's companies like us in the Chicago area. You've got the Iowa, you've got some people in Michigan, and then even in as far west as Denver and that area, there's some people out there. So we're still looking into it. Hopefully we'll put something together. If not, be ashamed to not have a U.S. event this year. So we'll see.
Okay, so that's the update for a potential DNN com. Now I'm gonna just talk a little bit about some of the posts that I have seen throughout the last month and a half, because our last chat has been about a month and a half before. So again, lots of interesting posts. I saw a particular one that I really liked from, and here I have it here, yes, from Ernst Peter Traminga. He is an MVP, and he does a very nice post explaining what the MVP group does, and actually he made a bit of a recap of the last MVP meeting, which was very useful to me personally, because I was not there. I had that I didn't have that recurring on my calendar, but I'll make sure that I'll be there on the next one. So again, a very nice post that explains what this group does and what types of topics we talk about there. So a nice one from Ernst. Moving forward here, there is already a 6-part series of posts from Charles Nurse about DNN8 module development. So a very interesting series of posts from Charles. Again, talking about how to develop single page applications and MVC modules. And again, this is carrying on from May, and the latest post has been posted about 2 weeks ago. So you should be on the lookout for that as well. This is the post number 1, and this is post number 6. All links will be on the video post. Next here in the agenda, I've recorded about a month ago a very nice interview with Peter Donker from Bring to Mind. Peter is the person behind the very good and famous document management module called DMX. So we spoke about that and his participation on the DNN community as well, and being one of the key individuals that put together the last conference on France. So again, we spoke about that, and yeah, it's quite a long but nice talk. So here's the link as well. Talking about interviews, I have already recorded this interview with Will Stroh from Hotcakes. Let me see if I have anything here. Yes, I have a post that will go live this coming week. So we have spoken about Hotcakes Commerce, a little bit of his involvement in the community as well, which again, he's heavily involved in the community, and he is one of the key people on the steering committee of the educational side of DNN. So again, a very good interview with Will. It's coming up next week. I don't have a link for that, but I mean, stay tuned and I'll let you know about that. So that's anything from your side so far, Scott?
No, not really. Just some of the, do you want to talk about some maybe upcoming possible videos or things like that?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm still in the process of, obviously the summertime is more difficult to get these out, but with all the activities going on. But a couple of projects that I'm working on, you mentioned Will Stroll and Hotcakes. I'm actually working on, very deeply involved in a Hotcakes project now, which is a first for me. And so I potentially could come out with something. It's too early on. I'd like to ship this project and collect my thoughts and then to put it together into a good video format. But potentially I could do something on Hotcakes Commerce and how to customize the different aspects of that. And some of the things we've been customizing is what they call the view set, which is how your checkout experience looks, as well as plugins for workflow and for custom payment and things like that. So that I think will be interesting. I'm still working on a good MVC demo, like a proper MVC demo. I know that next gen video that was my last video that came out in May was kind of an overview of it, but there was several holes that I need to fill with regard to just pure MVC module development. Hopefully with the CTP3 I'll be able to put something together, and with Entity Framework 7 and just without Angular, just straight up Razor, server-side development. So I'm working on that, and then the other thing I'm working on is I'm doing some more advanced Angular development, taking some best practices that Daniel Mettler has posted on the community forums, and as well as what I learned from him at DNN Connect in France this past year. Taking some of that and adding on more advanced topics like directives. So potentially that could turn into one. I'm just trying to figure out how to make that into, again, a instructional video, right? Because when you're working on it, I'm learning about it, I'm getting deep into it, I'm implementing it for very specifically for the purposes of what I'm, what a client is paying me for, but to then figure out how to make it into a more general topic. So those are the three things that I'm kind of working on coming up. I feel like probably the NBC one will probably be coming out first, maybe in August. And then after that, like I said, advanced Angular and potentially one on hotcakes.
Well, just a one quick note, and actually it's more of almost an internal note here for us, is that we should always keep thinking, and I have a hard time doing that. We should always keep thinking of how we can make advanced topics, covering advanced topics, but again, try also to mix them up with some more introductory topics as well, because our tendency is we do a tutorial, a video on one topic, and then we go to a more advanced one, and 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 again we keep increasing the level of our content. But again, we have to keep in mind that we may want to circle back again and get a fresh start from, hey, this basic one was done a year and a half ago, maybe I can review that and see how that look like today. And again, the same thing goes for administration, my end as well. Again, I keep pushing forward, but again, right now I'm in a point that I need to circle back and get to a fresh, new, basic instructional content for DNN. So again, just a quick note to have in mind,
Yeah, and I think the NBC one probably will be more like an intro video, even though people like me and others will consider it advanced just because it's brand new. But in a sense, it will be introductory because it's going to be, from fresh eyes, it's going to be a brand new way of developing. We'll have to start from square one again. How do you basically, how do you package things? How do you put together just your hello world view and just a basic view and edit? And so, yeah, I think naturally we're going to do that with these, or like with the, I imagine we'll probably do one soon on the on any of the new DNN 8 features, like the content manager stuff, the content types, and so I think DNN 8 will probably lend us to start over with a lot of things. So we'll see.
Makes sense. That's actually a very good strategy. DNN 8, a clean slate. It even rhymes.
Oh yeah, it rhymes. Nice.
Okay, moving on here. So I'm actually coming to an end here. I have a tip that, again, I try to commit on having a tip or a tool to showcase. This tip actually came from working with a client just this past week, and that's a client under DeskPal. Here's the scenario. The scenario is that they had a broken, upgraded DNN website. So the site was broken, it was not working, and they did not have a backup. So what do you do when you have a broken, upgraded DNN website? It's a tough situation, and there are not that many different things that you can try there. Again, you can look at the errors and try to figure that out, but the errors were very strange. I mean, just for starters, the jQuery libraries were not being loaded at all. So again, very strange. So we decided to do something a little bit different, The database seemed to be intact, and the upgrade has been done to a DNN 7.4.1, so the very latest version to this date. And then we said, you know what? This site doesn't have too many third-party modules here. Actually, it had no third-party modules. It's an out-of-the-box DNN installation with just pretty much static content throughout the site. And again, a very particular situation, but it might be applicable to you as well. Actually, we have used this strategy on two other situations as well. But so here's what we did. Site was not working, gave me some problems. I said, you know what? How about we get a fresh install of DNN 7.4.1 right here aside. Okay, so we have a 7.4.1 working here, and then we have this broken 7.4.1 here. So how about we do this? How about we get the site files from the 7.4.1 and put them and replace the broken set of files and keep the same database. So we kept the same database and we just redirect from the broken site files to a fresh set of site files. And it worked.
So wait, what you're saying was you took the fresh 742 and you just changed the web config to point to the original broken 742 database, just the database?
Correct.
Ah, okay. And everything worked?
Well, we had some problems because, of course, some of the images were not there, but that was easy. But what we did is we got the portals folder and from the broken sites, and we just move it over on top of the fresh install. Yeah. So again, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but again, we got what was left from the broken site, which was pretty much just the database only, and we replaced the site files with a fresh install of DNN 7. It worked just great. Again, it was a relatively simple solution. It took us about an hour to do that, and at the end of the day, it worked again. And so again, I think that it was just a mindful strategy. But again, if you come across a situation that site is upgraded and it's broken, maybe you want to start from a fresh install of DNN. So again, may or may not work every time. It may not. Again, who knows? Maybe the database was the one that was broken, and then you'd be back to square one.
Right. It's an option, though.
It's an option. Again, when you are facing a problem, that's the troubleshooting side of going through a problem like that. You have to try different strategies, and again, this is just one potential strategy that could work for you in case you come across a situation like that. Okay.
One of the things I was just gonna to tack on about upgrades. I usually give our developers and within Blue Bolt and others the tips. Now a lot of times when we're doing upgrades, it's Evoke. It's not the DNN platform. So the 3 tips I give are number 1, back up the site, which sounds like you are already beyond that. So okay. Number 2, make sure you get the right install. And for Evoke, that is important because there's different versions of Evoke, and sometimes we'll have a developer that just downloads 742 community, but it's really, they should be installing the Evoke 8 whatever that's based on 7.4, so the confusion of Evoke is still there with among even Gold partners like us. So always make sure you get the right package, the upgrade package for the right version you're using. And then the third thing is, after you do the upgrade, always if you're going to do a major upgrade, like from a major version like 6 to 7 or eventually 7 to 8 or whatever, always do a web config merge or a comparison, and it's a manual process. And this may have been what was wrong with yours, because we just did an upgrade recently where our operations manager was coming to me saying, hey, what's the deal? I mean, these things are throwing errors. The site came up, but all these errors are being thrown. And when we looked at the web configs, we looked at the upgrade didn't take care of adding in web config entries for these new providers. And it makes sense if you know the upgrade process in DNN, and we've talked about it, and I talked about it in my module videos with regard to module upgrades. But if you skip a version where maybe this particular version provided an upgrade step where it wrote an entry into the web config, it just won't be there. So a lot of times, so make sure that web config, usually it's a manual process. You bring it up in Notepad Plus and do a comparison and figure out what what things are missing. Sometimes it can get really ugly if you're starting with a 5 version or something like that. But that's usually what fixes a lot of the problems.
Perfect. I don't want to rant into that too much, but I mean, this thing about naming in DNN 8 and DNN 7, I mean, I have a lot of people coming to me and say, hey, do you have DNN 8 videos? I said, okay, DNN 8 is not out there yet. So again, what they really mean is evoke 8. So again, it still causes a lot of confusion there, you know.
Evoke 8, which is based on 7.4, and yeah, I know it's
But
right.
but let me tell you, clients in general and mostly from the professional version, they will say DNN 8. That's their naming. I mean, they will say it. Hey, we need support or we need something on DNN 8. I mean, forget about. So again, they will use that naming regardless of what DNN Corp wants or what we want. They are using that name. They are calling it DNN 8. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's my rant here. Scott, you said that you had a tip there as well.
I have a little small tip that I got from one of our actually from a project manager, someone who's not even technical, but who ends up, having to do a little bit of technical things. A few years ago, I worked a little bit on a Java project, so I did a little bit of open source Java and Linux type stuff. And
by the way, I have your screen open in case you want to demo something, okay?
Oh, great! Yeah. So in this case, I have a 8CTP install up. I think it's CTP2. But one of the things that I enjoyed about Linux was that tail command, or tail-f and on a log file. Are you familiar with that? Basically, what it does is in Linux, it will just output. It'll constantly read a log file, or really any text file, and anytime an external program appends to it, like log files do, you append text to it, the tail will constantly keep updating and showing you that. So I was like, yeah, there's some tools in Windows for that, but I thought, well, what was really neat is I use this Notepad++ a lot. Are you familiar?
I am. I use that.
Everybody, in fact, a lot of people use it. So if you don't use it, this is not my tip, but if you don't use it, download Notepad++, right? But the tip is there's a lot of plugins to Notepad++, and you've probably seen, I use this Compare a lot. There's lots of other plugins for different languages. But the plugin that I wanted to note was this Document Monitor plugin. And by the way, when you download Notepad++, to get these different plugins, a lot of them are just here in the plugin manager. And if you go to the show plugin manager, you can see I have this one installed. It's called Document Monitor. If you don't have it installed, it'll be unavailable. And you simply need to find it and then check it and click install. It's as easy as that. I don't know if you can see my screen, but it's pretty simple. Once you have it installed, it'll be in your plugins dropdown. And so I'm on this today's log file for my DNN CTP8 here, and I'm going to say start monitoring. And what happens when you start monitoring, I wish there was more visual indicator, but the only indicator you have is that this turns to stop monitoring. But now there's actually an error on my site. I think when I click on this page here, there's an error because there's a module I dropped on there that I haven't finished developing yet, right? So I'll click on this page, and what'll happen is, it might have to warm up my site here. But notice that this thing automatically updates. I don't need to keep going open, refresh, So basically what this is doing is it's kind of like the tail. It is constantly just looking for new updates to this text file, and you just have to leave this open and you can see what's happening. It makes it more interesting on a live site where things are constantly happening and you're seeing these appends happen in real time. So anyway, this was very useful, especially in looking at an installation of DNN in production where there's errors being thrown by something constantly, and you just it's hard to just scan through it. You just want to see it. I'm working on the website. I have this open on another monitor, and right when I click this, boom, it updates, and I can see in real time the error or something happening in the log.
Perfect. I didn't know about that, but you know what? That's definitely something. That's definitely something that I'll be using as well. Again, I already use the tool. I don't have too many plugins, but I mean, this is very useful, Scott. Let me tell you.
Yeah. That's it for my tip of the month.
Good. So 2 tips today. Okay, good. Okay, so that's basically it. I just want to finish with a small plug for DeskPal here. Uh, DeskPal we have opened up for two things. We have opened up for other CMS as well. So if you are part of the dark side of the force on the PHP space, we also are covering not only DNN but WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, the other PHP-based CMSs. And one more thing, for this month, actually for August, we are doing the first task for free. So if you have anything that you need done, any fix, anything that you need done on a DNN website, we have our first task for free, so you can try us free of costs, no commitments, nothing. So again, free first task. There's a link at the bottom of this video for that page that you can request your free task. That's it for the plug. Scott, anything from your end to finalize?
No, that's it for me.
Perfect. Okay, so have a good August there. We touch base again at the end of August, and summer will be pretty much, I guess.
Oh, don't say it.
But again, we can cry together in about a month. Okay.
That's right.
Bye, Scott.
Bye.